Hey folks, when I do my videos on working on the forklift, I've been kind of jumping around because, sometimes I got to wait on something, and so to keep working, I jump to the next thing and then I go back and finish it. So, what I'm doing on this episode is I thought I'd go back and put a bunch of the videos together on doing the rebuilding the water pump, and then I'll probably do it for rebuilding the Continental Y91 and so forth. Some of those things, so that if you're just interested in a certain aspect of it, you don't have to go through and watch all the other stuff. So if you follow the other videos, you're gonna see some of this will be a repeat for you. So um, follow along here. Okay, we're back on the clutch. We're going to reassemble it. What I'm doing here is I'm just going to do a quick amateur resurface with a DA sander. I'm not sure if I've got the low enough grit sandpaper, but we'll try it, see what happens. I need to find some heavier grit sandpaper so I can get some crosshatch on in it. All this is doing is making it smooth. Okay, found some 220 grit discs and ran it over it. Got a fairly decent crosshatch on it, so I think we're going to go with that. So we're flipping over here, start setting that up. Back to reassembling the clutch. So, in previous recording, this is the eye bolt that was in this. However, I can't get one that size anymore. So this is what the smallest I was able to get. And these were I always wondered about these. Because, it felt slopped out, but it really wasn't. Because what it is if you see the new fingers, I got new fingers. I was going to rebuild the old ones, but I was able to find new ones. Under that finger, this pin goes through here, and then that goes, let me see if I can do this without putting the camera down, but that goes through here, and the pin goes in here like so, and then that fits into that hole, and then there's this keeper that slides up in here. And you can see how that ends up looking. Sorry about the shadow. That's how that ends up looking, and then you of course then put on the this over the top of it with these springs in there, and then you use these to crank it down, and then this spring goes in like this and pushes on down on those fingers. So anyway, it's a really tight fit. I ended up having to drill these out quite a bit to be able to get it to slide in there, and even then it was a really tight fit. So I'm going to go ahead and put the last of those three on, and then these springs go on either side of that. There's 6 of them on this one. And then I'll show you, before I made that, I had that plate with the threaded rod through it and a plate on top. Well, I didn't really need to do that because it's got some threaded holes here, and you use that to crank it down to put these on. So let me go ahead and jigger these things in here, the other two, and we'll get back to that. That is a pain in the butt. All right. There, and there. These are supposed to be 2 inches. They're 2.5. So those are too long. So we're going to 2-inch ones. Okay, got my springs in there. See if I reach it. Sure. Yeah, let's see if I can start with 2.5 and then replace it. or just slowly crank this down. Well, we'll bottom it out now. And of course, when I do that, it lets it up so far that I can't get to it. Will it be enough? No. I just realized that those springs can't be, I don't have those springs in there right anyway. Because if I leave them like that, they interfere with the pilot, or the throwout bearing. Okay, so those have got to go like that. Oop. Okay. Yeah, that's more like it. Let's see if I can add another. You have to get it down so far and then forward. Okay, let's try this again. Okay. So I need to go down a little bit more. Here's what I'm going to try to do. This one out. See if I get the 2-inch to grab now. No. So we'll have to go with 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, 5 washers. See if they'll work. You know, almost. Let's see what happens when I go 5 on that side. Will that drop it? It's got to close. There we go. All right, I gotta go find one more wash. Okay, there you have it. The clutch is finally put back together in all its glory. Turned out pretty good. I know originally I said I was going to repair the fingers that I had, but I was able to find these and they weren't very expensive. We replaced the pins in there and the eye bolts, and of course the nuts had go bigger nuts. But we did get it put back together. I had to drill out the holes for the eye bolts so I could slide them in there. So this will still require some adjustment on the clutch, adjusting these when we get to that point. The other thing that I did do, and I can show you over here, is I was just going to reuse the friction plate, but I tore into it this far, so I decided to go ahead and send it into Fort Wayne Clutch and have them reline it for me. So here's the reline clutch. So as far as I'm concerned, the clutch is done until we go to reattach the engine to the transmission. So this is the little cover. It goes on the block here, and then the petcock goes in there, and that's how you drain the water out of the block. I need to make a gasket for that. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over here and outline that. Maybe. or set it down here. But basically I'm going to outline around here and there, or cut it out, and then take the gasket over to the block, and I'll show you what I'm going to do there to make the outline for the opening in the block. Well, the other day I was at Harbor Freight and I picked up this pair of shop scissors for 99 cents, and so far so good. They worked really well. So now the next step is I got this set a long time ago to punch out holes in gaskets. So I'm going to punch these holes out. I'll be back once it's done. Okay, there you are. You really got to punch hard with this thing, but it does make a pretty good circle. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to come over to the block here, and I'm going to lay this thing up here, line it up as best I can, and then I'm going to take the hammer and gently tap around here so I get a decent mark in there. Alright, here's what I ended up with. I'll go over and outline that a little bit better with the marker, and then we'll cut it out. I'll try using just a razor blade. There you go. Fairly clean cut. Now you notice on this is eroded pretty good. But anyway, should make a halfway decent seal. If you remember, I screwed up these bolts in the manifold. This is on the exhaust side. Exhaust actually goes up and then curls down. So, biggest problem I had is I broke off a easy out in there, which is common to everybody. And what I ended up doing to get that easy off out is I got some of these. These are actually 1/4 inch hole saws. They're designed to drill through like marble and stuff like that for cabinets. I ended up getting a package of them off of Amazon. I think there were 10 of them for $9. I ended up, originally I went out to Menards and got one, and I got about, 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 inch, between an 1/8 and a 1/4 inch down, and it dulled out and then twisted. So I ordered these and went through 3 more of them, but it actually drilled right over that easy out through there. And then I bought a, see if it's over here. I'm not sure where I put it. But anyway, I bought a whole set of thread repair set that came with all the threads, came with the proper size drill bit and tap, and then it came with the tool to turn them down there, and then a tool to knock off the part that goes across that tool hooks up to. And I threaded them. I put red Loctite on them, so we should be good to go. So the next thing I'm going to do is media blast this, and then our paint it. I got to media blast that, and then here's the part that mounts up here, and then the exhaust attaches to that. So I'll go ahead and get that media blasted, and then we'll paint it. I use the same paint, high temp paint that I used on the engine.